a couple years ago as the pandemic hit, and we all saw a really big reliance on food banks and people that were having significant issues getting access to reliable, healthy food. And so out of that, A Garden in Every Lot was born. The idea of, instead of having to put this huge reliance on our food banks and having food that's shipped in, that's heavily packaged, processed, that we're giving people the tools to actually start gardens in their own backyards. And so this is a project people can sign up now on our website, and it's an opportunity for first-time gardeners to get all the support to start gardens in their own spaces. So we'll provide a site assessment, we'll provide the actual tilling, plants, seeds, all those things to get your garden started, and then support along the way to figure out like when's a good time to harvest, the best way to kind of protect from critters. And it's also something that's available for people who don't even have a garden space. If you're living in an apartment or a rental, we have opportunities for that too, where you can just do container gardening. So it's a great way to provide some resources and direct support for people to have a closer relationship to their food and to have more access to healthy local food that they're growing on their own.
Well, as long as you can help me keep things alive,
yeah.
That'd be amazing.
That's the trick, right? Yeah, for sure.
You suck!
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Worst with the Worst. I'm your host, The Worst, and today we're bringing you the worst. The worst in question is Pan Man. Yes, you heard me, Pan Man. It follows around a man with a pan on his head, yet he's not a man, he's a demon. This demon goes around just killing people for fun and drives a Ferrari with a sports car. And the people trying to stop him is a custard professor with his students. First of all, who is a custard professor? And second of all, why does that have anything to do with pans? Why does he think he's the best to stop him? As you can tell, there's no police in this entire movie, so it's literally just a bunch of college students and a custard professor.
Pan Man.
Wouldn't want the Pan Man to get you.
Now you think this might just be a movie about murder and malice, but in all actuality, it's much more than that. Mr. Pan Man's not doing this about murder. He's doing this for love. So now it's about a story of a demon Pan Man guy and a custard professor and some local college students trying to help him find his love of his life. But that's not where it ends. There's also another professor, a culinary professor, who's trying to assassinate Mr. Pan Man. Now, the two go back and forth, and it's a grueling, boring battle, and nothing really happens. You do get to see Mr. Pan Man drive a Ferrari, which is okay. I don't know how he has that car if he's a demon and just came back, but he does, and it's a creative choice, I guess. The director of this movie is Tim Perry, and he does a lot of movies like this, and he releases them on Amazon. Pan Man will cost you around 99 cents and about an hour-ish of your time, if you can do that. But the worst thing that I thought was Tim opens every movie with, "These are true events. Nothing has been changed." Like, come on. I don't think a demon pan guy is going to come around the corner and kill me. I am a holy nun, and this has been Worst with the Worst. I am the worst, and please, before you come back and watch my next segment, watch something good. I beg of you. Signing off. Hello and welcome back, everyone. This is Worst with the Worst, and I am the worst. And I will be bringing you the worst. The worst in question is Howard the Duck.
Come here, snot nose.
That's it. No more Mr. Nice Duck.
Howard the Duck came out in 1986 after the very successful Star Wars franchise. Now, both those franchises were directed by the same person, George Lucas. This movie, you think, would be good since George Lucas did Star Wars, but it missed every point that they tried to make. I never want to hate on any actors because sometimes it's not their fault. The script can just be very bad, and in this case, it was bad, cringy, and terrible. It's like when you ask Siri a question, but she restates a different question to you. It just doesn't work, and it's very robotic.
What the hell's wrong with you? I want to see your license, Jack.
I have no license. I am not Jack.
Not only that, but they tend to sexualize almost every scene.
I'm pretty tired.
It's just that you're so incredibly soft and cuddly.
Bev, let's be realistic. I mean, my apartment's zillions of miles from here. You're 3 feet taller than I am.
I just can't resist your intense animal magnetism.
I don't want a man duck having sex with a female woman. I don't want to think about that, nor do I ever want to picture that in my mind, and no one else would. It is terrible, but it seems like every scene is alluded to some sexual erotica. Thank you for coming. This has been Worst with the Worst, and I'm sorry for traumatizing you with Howard the Duck. I hope next week's segment won't be as bad, but please, go watch something good.
Hey, this is Joseph Cornwell. I'm reporting live out here at Mock Reunion on UNI's campus. And today we have a new segment here at UNI. The segment, Party Tricks. We're going to be going around asking UNI students if they have a trick they're willing to show us. Let's get going. Are you willing to say your name and major? And do you have any cool party tricks or talents you'd be willing to show us?
My name's Megan Ollis, and my major is business, and my cool trick is that I put my leg behind my head.
Okay. Thank you so much. On to the next one.
My name is Paul Noble. I'm a digital media production major, and my hidden talent is juggling. All right, right on.
Okay, let's see it. Oh, I see one open. Is it going in the mouth? On to the next one.
My name is Jordan Schmelzer. I'm a junior, and I can twirl a drumstick in my fingers. Like this.
So you're a drummer then? Okay. That's impressive. Whew. What a day. Join us next week on Party Tricks where we interview more students to see what they have to show us. Good night, everybody.
Welcome back to Bingeworthy. I'm your host, Zach Cochran. And on Bingeworthy, we talk about shows that you may or may not have heard about and determine if they're worthy of your binge time. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Master of None, directed by Aziz Ansari and Alan Yang on Netflix. This dramedy series follows Aziz Ansari's character, Dev, as he goes through New York City becoming an actor. Along the way, we meet some of his close companions and many other memorable characters that I wish I could tell you about, but then I'd be spoiling the show. Now, something that this show does really well is they talk about social issues like racism, sexual identity, sexual harassment, religion, immigration, ethical problems, personal ethical problems, literally you name it, and there's a 30-minute episode about it. Now with this series, what they do well compared to other series is they make these episodes actually really entertaining. I think what other shows really lack is it feels forced to the audience, not with Master of None. These social issues are the episodes. They carry the show, and they drive them home in a really original and fun way. The humor's great. The cinematography, I think, is very underrated in this show. We get a lot of thought-provoking questions, different editing and shot selections that don't follow a bland pattern, and just a really original show. Now, the first season aired in 2015 with 10 episodes with a runtime of about 30 minutes. And this follows into season 2 when it launched in 2017 with another 10 episodes. Now, there's been a long wait for the third season of Master of None, and it finally drops in the summer of 2021. Sadly, though, fans would consider this season very disappointing. Titled Master of None presents Moments of Love, we follow Denise's character with her partner Alicia as they get married. We follow the ups and downs of their relationship, and what was once a fun, energetic, thought-provoking show has turned into a serious drama. Now, this once Emmy and Golden Globe winning show has taken a major dive on review sites, but we're still going to give it a 9 out of 10, if you don't watch the third installment. I can't even call it a third season. It just doesn't relate to the show at all, really, and just doesn't feel like it belongs. That being said, if you do watch the third installment, we're going to have to give it a 7 out of 10. Plain and simple, it's just disappointing. Like I said already, which was once an original thought-provoking show, is clearly not there anymore. Get comfy though, because this will turn into one of your favorite shows. Just maybe do yourself a favor and turn it off after season 2. I'm Zach Cochran, and this has been Bingeworthy.
Hello, and welcome back to Top Gifts of the Week. I have one question for you. Got gifts? Taking our number 3 spot is a gift that is not only extremely cute, it's also lucky.
St. Patrick's Day was last week on March 17th. St. Patrick's Day observes the death of an Irish St. Patrick who died around 492 AD.
What better way to commemorate a past saint than with the cutest little kitty wearing a green hat? Taking our number 2 spot is a gift that is also a work of art.
This giant foot sculpture is located in Rome, and it's actually a fragment of the giant sculpture Colossus of Constantine.
This gift comes from the British TV show The Art Detectives.
The way the man is looking at this sculpture raises a lot of questions for me.
And taking our number 1 spot, our top gift of the week is... let's talk solar panels.
Solar panels are not only good for the environment, they are cost efficient as well. Did you know using solar energy can save you nearly 90% of your monthly energy bill?
That's awesome. Also, the guy in the gift is a total mood.
Yes, definitely.
This has been Top Gifts of the Week. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.
So what would you say to those who are trying to get interested and getting involved with the program?
Yeah, I think, showing some initiative is going to be the first step. I think there's so many opportunities out there. Obviously, we all hear about different things that are going on. Our social media platforms are so saturated with different things happening all the time. But I think really thinking personally about what you care about. For some people it may be environment, but other people it may be education or health or housing. And really just reaching out and seeing what kind of opportunities exist for you to be involved. I think that's great from a professional networking perspective, like you all talked about earlier, but also just an opportunity for you to kind of dig your hands into some things that you care about. And sometimes that can mean like just one weekend of helping cleaning up trash, or it can mean you're using this as a summer internship opportunity. So a great way to grow, a great way to learn, but I think you also have to realize for all the things that you want to do personally and professionally, it involves some initiative from you to get things started, and that's where I would tell people to start, is reach out to those organizations that pique your interest.
Well, I already say networking. You got a bunch of guys
right here. Yeah, now I know who I need for some volunteers. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, because they're always looking for stuff, I'm sure.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
So what's next for the CEE or the Green Iowa AmeriCorps program? Yeah,
so we have a huge summer program that we're currently interviewing and hiring people for that will start May 24th. It's a 3-month service position, 300 hours. You get a living stipend while you're serving with us. You get an education stipend, and we have positions all over the state of Iowa where we're placing summer members, and you'll be doing a lot of hands-on environmental direct service work, so tree planting, highway cleanups, river cleanups, working in maybe some community gardens. And and then doing a lot of education, volunteer engagement, that kind of thing. So, the nice thing about those positions too is even if you're a marketing background, business background, media background, there's so many different things with our program where you can kind of fit in and gain some experience alongside all the environmental work we're doing. So for people who are interested, they can apply at our website. That's really where we're spending a lot of our time right now is finding applicants for our big summer program and gearing up for the new year that starts in September 1st for us, which is our grant year. So those are in the mix, but obviously Earth Day is next month. So we're also having a lot of our sites get ready for what really becomes Earth Month for us. A lot of activities, service projects, things that are happening in the month of April as the weather gets nicer.
I always love seeing things about Earth Day coming on thing because people come up with such creative ideas to do.
Yeah, for sure.
So, is there anything else you guys would like to say to the viewers out there?
You got anything, Andrew?
Reach out, get involved in your community. Doesn't have to be anything involved with Greek life. Just get involved, give back to the place that helps build you into who you are.
Couldn't say better myself. Thank you, Ashley and Andrew, again for coming on the show and sharing with us. I'm your host, William Trabue, and thanks to our audience once again. This has been At You and I. See you next time.
For you and I students, and that is, what is your biggest concern? First up, we have William Trabue. So Will, what is your biggest concern as you get closer to graduation?
Yeah, so I'm a year out to graduate, and the biggest concerns I have are being able to afford paying off stuff. I know it's hard right now for the millennials and Generation Z. There's a lot of the jobs we're getting are not paying as much as they used to, from the 1930s, 1980s. You could buy a house, you could pay for schooling, and the job you got after school would pay for your schooling, and that's not kept up as generations go through. So that's my biggest concern is if we're going to be able to live comfortably, buy our own house instead of renting or just going through an apartment. That's my concern.
Yeah, there's definitely a disconnect there. Is there anything you wish the university did to help with these concerns?
That's a little hard of a question. I don't think it's just on UNI. This is a global thing. It's every university out there. Education is just so expensive right now, and that's a hard one to answer. It's a whole system, so it's not just on UNI.
Yeah, I get that. Well, thank you. Well, let's see what a student that has a few years until graduation thinks.
My name is Addie Boosman. That's ADDIEBUSEMAN.
Okay. And what is your biggest concern as a UNI student?
My biggest concern as a UNI student is probably trying to find what career path I want. I'm not sure what I want to do yet, so just trying to find that in the 4 years that I have here. That's my biggest concern.
We have another student that's a little bit closer to graduation with us. Megan, what concerns you as you near the end of your time here at UNI?
So I'm graduating in May, and I think my biggest concern, Will spoke on it just a touch, but finding a job. UNI has an online website, it's called Handshake, and there's LinkedIn, and yeah, you can find jobs on those, but they don't sit you down and teach you how to work those sites or narrow down your options because some people are specific in what they want to go to. And so while yes, having those websites is great, but if no one tells you about them or they don't emphasize the importance, then you don't have those websites, and then you're just kind of on your own.
Yeah, you're going into it blind. Right. I get that. Is there anything that you like or dislike about the steps you have to take to graduate?
One of the steps I like is for internships. Now, at least for digital media production students, they have a class that you have to take, and I know another class, yes, but it focuses a lot on finance and even future things like retirement. And so being able to have that class and learn that stuff kind of, eases it a little bit, knowing that I have someone else who has experienced it, because you read a real easy book, and so that kind of helps you out. And she, the teacher of the class, brings in guests to speak on that stuff, and so I think that's helped a lot. What I don't like is kind of how much they make graduation so expensive, because there are students who walk across the stage and it is expensive to do that, and it's like, but we put our time and effort and a ton of money to come here. You would think that at graduation time, you know, this could be our moment and not have to worry about spending the money. And yes, you don't have to walk, that is a thing. However, I think more people would walk if you didn't have to spend so much money on it, and I think that's an important like way to kind of end your career, because that's how you ended high school and college, and you're done.
All right, next up we have Madison Foley. We've been getting some feedback from other students about their concerns with school here at UNI. Is there anything that you worry about?
Well, I know Megan and Will touched on this, but finding a job that's going to support me after school, the cost of living nowadays is so high, like gas prices, prices of houses, food even, it's just so high. And finding a job that I want to do, that like I came here to study digital media production and I want to find a job in that, and just finding a job that will pay me enough to be able to pay off my student loans and live comfortably, that's something that I am concerned about.
Yeah, and those cost of livings just keep going up.
It's insane.
Do you think any of these concerns reflect on the university poorly?
I mean, I don't think so. It's not the university's fault, you know, and they're just trying to keep up with tuition and stuff like that. And I know that tuition is slowly going up, but it's going up everywhere, just like Will said. So I don't think it's a reflection on UNI, because they have done a lot to prepare me to get the job, but it's just a matter of finding the job that will pay me enough to be able to support myself after school.
Yeah. Joining us now is Zach Cochran. Now, Zach, what are your dreams when you leave school?
Dreams, so like dreaming big, I would love to do something with sports broadcasting. If I could choose, I'm really into like MMA, so doing something with like the UFC or Bellator or something with one of those major productions would be awesome. But really anything in sports would be a dream.
That's awesome. Do you have any concerns that the university may not help you get into sports broadcasting?
I think the university has done a really good job with their digital media production classes and some of the opportunities they give us as well. And I think a lot of the professors are really awesome, and they do want to see their students succeed in whatever they go after. But, you know, some things that I am concerned about that maybe is a little bit out of control or out of the hands of the university are things like paying off my student debt and finding a job that I like. You know, Grandpa only had to pay a nickel and a dime to go to college, and a house only cost $10 for him. So it used to be really easy back then to just be like, oh, I want to do the college route, get a good job, and then like do whatever I want. I got buddies that did trade schools, you know, and even though those jobs don't seem the most exciting, they're already getting a ton of money and like paying mortgages on houses and stuff, and they're my age, you know, and here I am still paying rent, thinking, do I have enough to buy groceries this week? So things like that definitely concern me going into the future.
Yeah, that is kind of scary.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, Zach. We have another student here that wanted to share her concerns regarding school here at UNI. Let's take a look.
For the record, please state your name and spell it for us.
My name is Kayla Rasmussen, CAYLA-RASMUSSEN. Yeah.
All right.
This is really weird.
It is very weird. What is your biggest concern as a student here at UNI?
My biggest concern as a UNI student is not feeling like I'm encouraged or supported to choose the career path that I wanted. I graduated with a degree in communication and a minor in public relations and marketing, and that is not really what I'm interested in. I'm interested in working in sex education or as a sex therapist, but that wasn't something that was encouraged or kind of explored here. And so I really feel like the outlets here at UNI are just not student focused.
We are now sitting down with Xavier Timmel. Is there anything on your mind that concerns you regarding your schooling here at UNI?
Well, currently it's mainly internships and where I'm going to go in order to graduate in the first place. And I'm really concerned if my skills are up to par with my choices and if I'm making the right choice. And that mostly comes to conflict in my natural habit of being a creature of habit and just doing the same routine over and over, and just doing something different just kind of scares me naturally.
Yeah, change is kind of scary, yeah. Is there anything that would help you regarding those concerns?
If I have like a one-on-one meeting with maybe someone from career services instead of like over Zoom, well, maybe Zoom would help, but one-on-one face-to-face would mainly help me alleviate my stress a whole lot, just because I'd have more of a guiding hand.
Yeah, COVID really made things bad with the online stuff, but one-on-ones are definitely helpful. All right, our last guest today is Emma Criswell. Could you tell us a little about your concerns you face here at UNI?
I would say my biggest concern is probably after I graduate in the next couple years. Obviously finding a job. I know a lot of us have talked about getting a good paying job, but I'm also worried about getting a job I actually enjoy, like something I actually, obviously as a digital media production major, I want to do video stuff, and I want to not just video stuff, but like more specific things that I actually want to focus on. So I want to have a job that focuses on those things and not just a job that it was like, okay, I make videos, so that's good enough. Like I want to be happy with what I'm making.
Yeah, that's very important. Do you think UNI has helped steer you in the right direction to follow your dreams?
Yeah, I would say so. I'm really interested in different sports and filming sports, editing for sports, all that kind of stuff. And I've been getting a lot of opportunities with professors and being able to help do filming for the games on campus here at the Dome or McLeod. So I think that has really helped me obviously get more of a working with the cameras, hands-on stuff. So I think that was really beneficial.
Yeah, that is very helpful. Well, thank you, Emma. It was great hearing from so many of our students here at UNI.
Well, it seems like your company does great work and very good graphics.
Hardest working man in show business.
Right? Well, but I'm traveling to Cedar Falls, Iowa, besides the occasional trip with the team. Like you have, the stories that Rick has. He's going to bowl games in Florida and all over the place.
I'm not a professor, a business owner.
There's a little bit of stuff going on.
Play-by-play guy. I mean, he's doing everything. I mean, if he's an example. Maybe I'm an example of the past where you work for a company for 35, 40 years. This guy is out establishing things like his own business. And I mean, he's a great example for young people coming out of this program and just any program really on the campus.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you.
Now, Eric, some students may have some mixed feelings about certain aspects of the job, such as maybe not having the creativity or the technical skills. What advice can you give to some of those students who really only have the ability to do one of those things?
Well, you're part of a team. You don't have to do everything. Started my business with Michael Reber, who's in the control room and doing all the technical stuff that I have no idea how to do. And so we made a team of people who my biggest weaknesses are their strengths, their biggest, and it's just like a football team. Guess what? Those big old linemen, they're not running with the football. They're not kicking the field goals. It's a collaborative effort like we've talked about, and how do you make a team and how do you fit into that team? Be really good at writing, be really good at photography, and someone else will hopefully be really good at After Effects or motion graphics or other things. And together you can create some really cool things.
Yeah, and I'd shout out Michael. He actually helps us here too, so he's a great person.
Absolutely.
Now, and kind of going back, how does KWL kind of work with collaborations since you guys are a large newscast?
Well, I mean, it's kind of the same thing Eric is talking about. It's a team. Whether it be a news team that comes together and have meetings during the day to find out which of the big stories of the day, or weather department coming up with a plan to attack, say for instance, if they see severe weather entering the area, or a sports team like ourselves during March Madness trying to figure out how we're going to cover 3 or 4 of our schools from the state of Iowa, men and women, who will be playing in the NCAA tournament, and also teams that will be playing in the NIT with relatively limited staff, but we just figure out how to handle the resources, whether we have to depend on an affiliate station to help us out as well. I mean, it's all about planning too. I mean, planning for success. I mean, you got to be ready for it, in terms of putting it together.
Yeah. And if the weather station was telling me that severe weather's coming, I bet you're out of there. You're out of there.
Well, that's the thing. Like on Friday night football, they do a 30-minute show, and I mean, you spotlight 20-some games, and you might have one person that's going to 3 different high school games to film, and the timeline, the turnaround on that is minutes and sometimes seconds where they're running on.
It is. It's a labor of love for me. I mean, I complain a lot during the season, trying to make sure everyone's in their particular spot, and we're trying to cover a certain game and we might not have enough staff, but somehow we might have to have a guy go to 2 or 3 different games to make it happen, and they're complaining as well. I mean, you know, you just try to make things happen, and everybody kind of chips in and is there for it.